Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Death Dhamma podcast. Here I am today, your host, Margaret Maloney, and we're in season 4. And as you know, we've been discussing release from suffering. And so today I'm going to bring you the story of a father who sought to help his daughter with some suffering that she was going through. It's a popular social media post that's been going around in the last couple of weeks, and a father sends his daughter a series of text messages on how to get through a difficult breakup. In the midst of saying all the right things to support her, he tells her to be the bull. But what does that even mean? What a weird thing for a father to say. He tells his daughter that when a storm comes, cows will try to run and hide. And in doing so, the cows experience so much more suffering from the storm. So Dad goes on to say in his texts, he goes on to tell her that bulls face the same storm, but bulls head right into it. And yes, it's difficult. And sure, they get battered by the storm, but because the bulls face the storm, their suffering is initially intense, but lasts for a shorter period of time. With this analogy, Dad is telling his daughter that yes, she hurts, and this is not easy, but the best thing she can do is to own her difficult emotions and to head into that storm. Dad knows that she will then come through the other side healed and stronger. The good news is that while you may start off as a cow, you will have many opportunities to practice being a bull. You will face the end of relationships, maybe the inability to conceive children, possibly the loss of a job, the gradual decline of senses such as hearing, the diminishing of physical abilities, and even looming uncertainties over your mortality. These are all things we deal with, right? We will all face impermanence and loss throughout our lifetimes. So all of us, that means you too, me, you, all of us. Sometimes you need someone to help you acknowledge the storms you face, right? So in the story of Dad texting his daughter, the dad was open about recognizing his daughter's grief. He didn't turn away with a perfunctory, cheer up, your life will get better. In his way, he normalized her experience and he guided her toward acceptance. And acceptance helps us with the suffering. There's a storm, and now is the time to head into that storm. It will not be easy, but there is something different waiting for you on the other side. Some days you'll head right into that storm. Some days you're going to resist and then walk into the storm. And other days will find you mooing like a cow. We moo like cows because we're human. See how that works? Be patient with yourself. Your ability to accept impermanence fluctuates. And although some people can go right from, oh, the freeway is blocked, to, I'll just get off at this exit and take surface streets, for others, changing the drive home or rearranging plans for the week can be a bit of a struggle. It's okay to experience a gap between the appearance of impermanence and your decision to head into the storm, especially if that storm's a Category 5 hurricane. It takes a special kind of bravery and trust to run or walk into something that looks bigger and wilder than you are. One of the best stories that was shared with me about that gap between learning about something and dealing with it concerned a woman who had received a diagnosis of alopecia. She learned that she was going to lose all of her hair. When the doctor relayed this information to her, she took it rather well. In fact, probably too well. Her doctor encouraged her to realize that this was a big deal for most people and that she would be wise to give herself some time to think about it before jumping right into acceptance. I suspect that what he knew was that in that moment, her perceived acceptance was really a form of shock. And her doctor was encouraging her to sit with it. In terms of heading into the storm, I've come to think of this as, the gap, as your way to gather your strength. You're bracing yourself for your journey. What does it take to be a bull? It takes bravery and faith. Yes, there's faith in Buddhism. Knowing that you are purposefully turning toward your pain and trusting that this is the right decision. It takes acceptance that you will minimize but not completely eliminate your suffering from the storm. It takes willingness to try again. Self-compassion for those times when you're really afraid to run into the storm, and gratitude for the arrival of every darn storm. And then additional gratitude for the survival of each of those darn storms. And it helps to have someone to remind you that you can be the bull. In turn, there may be times when you help others around you by normalizing their painful emotions, guiding them to acceptance, and watching them head into the storms that they face. Do bulls really run into the storm? It turns out that perhaps Dad had the right answer, but possibly the wrong animal. There is certainly plenty of information about bison running into storms. But this whole thing isn't about bull versus bison, right? This is about what it takes to live with impermanence and to be with the difficult emotions that come our way. Because really, this is about learning to face and handle our suffering. And for that, Dad was right on track. I've got books for you, starting with Carpooling with Death, How Living with Death Will Make You Stronger, Wiser, and Fearless, the book that got me going and helped me to discuss going through the death of my loved ones, followed by Sitting with Death, Buddhist insights to help you face your fears and live a peaceful life, based on Season 1 of the Death Dhamma podcast. And just recently, Enlightenment Unleashed, how your pet can lead you to spiritual transformation, because during our lifetime, we may see the rising and ceasing of many pets, and we love them like they are our family. Find these on Amazon.com or come see me at MargaretMaloney.com. You've been listening to the Death Dhamma podcast with your host, Margaret Maloney. Thank you so much for being here. Come find me on MargaretMaloney.com, MargaretMeloni.com. And until we meet again, may you be well, may you be happy, may you be at ease, and may you be free from suffering. Bye for now.